Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the daily plan on a kind of choppy looking, stormy in the SPX morning. And where are we now? We're below 6,700, which is kind of a tenuous, tentative place to be. We're going to look at why in a minute. But the bulls really want to hold above 67.10 at some point, hopefully earlier in the day. Rather than later in the day, it'd be hard to get there. And the path from here, if we can't hold this 90 or 85-ish, where was the overnight low was? We have an overnight low spike over here at around 80-ish when Trump announced something. I forgot what he announced. There was some kind of something tweet that came out. And you see we're having trouble holding this. And 75 is, if vol keeps doing what it's doing, if VIX keeps going up, and we're going to look at that too, then 75 might be a realistic target and see what happens there. And of course, we have the 6660, 6650, round number reversal area, the gap fill area from Friday to Monday gap. You see the gap better over here. Here's the gap up, and here's the gap from. And so we've kind of filled that gap. And if we can just from a price action, TA, however you want to understand the point of view, kind of hold this and consolidate a little bit, that would be okay too. We'd like to not revisit 60 or 75, but we'll see. Okay, so now let's get back to the continuous. And that's kind of where we are. I don't know why I have double writing here, but whatever. Yeah, this is the TV string that I generate based on the daily plan roadmap, which we're going to talk about in a minute. And I guess let's talk about different aspects of it now. And so yesterday, we kind of talked about it briefly. Let's just kind of go over it again. Yesterday, I think, again, we had a tweet. We were trying to hold the 6,700. Once we broke it, the setup was somewhat similar to today. We'll look at it in a minute. There was like negative gamma below us, and we got sucked in. Additionally, along with that, we had this VIX spike. Now, yesterday was VIX expiration day, and so a little grain of salt with that. We briefly had the VIX 9-day pop above the VIX. So the term structures kind of short term and wasn't backwardation or was really flat. But the more risk is being priced into the short side. The VIX 9-day, as the name implies, calculates the volatilities for the Friday's bracketing 9 days from now. So the first Friday before 9 days from now is tomorrow. So this is tomorrow plus next Friday, which is the end of the month, FOMC, the eve of the Trump G meeting, the JP Morgan collar expiration. So there's a lot dumped into this VIX 90 and near-term volatility for us to keep our eyes on. To my eye, and this was just kind of subjectively, not quantitatively, VVIX didn't spike as much as it quote unquote should have with this kind of move we had yesterday. And usually when that happens, it's kind of the end of this. Doesn't mean today, it means in a few days, a week, that the worst had passed over here from a vol point of view, not necessarily from a price point of view. That kind of the worst had passed over here. Last Friday, a few days ago. Okay. All right. Here we got the trusty dandy options depth. I keep forgetting to put a discount link in. The options depth breakdown by strike. And I'm going to get rid of these tails in a minute. I just want to show them to you real quick. So what happened in the pre-market? Some 66.75 puts, more were bought. 66.75, 50. See the little black dot here? I don't know if you see it or not. These were bought at the opposite side of these 75. So there were 75, 50 put debit spreads that were bought at around, I don't know, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, something like that. And so that's what, and also some of these tails, this was closed out here at 66.40. Some of the customer longs at 67.10 were closed. Some of the stuff right nearby 6,700 was closed. More puts were bought at 66.95. So that's great, but that doesn't really matter as much as what's happening now. So let's just get rid of that. And what's happening now is below 66.90. That's negative gamma. Market makers hedge in the direction of the move, with VIX popping more so. If VIX slows down, that could stall reversals because they can be too short. Even if we're kind of below a level, the deltas adjust and they shift and they're not as negative delta, that could kind of help cause a reversal. And so below 66.90, 66.75 is your first realistic target. Depends if there's monetization, depends what volatility does. And if that fails, we're kind of back to the 60-50 round number zone. Wish I had better news for you. That's the news. Let me extend the bottom a little bit. Let's go 65.70. Okay, so 65.75, that's where I think it was the 100 wide gang sold yesterday, and so did I. And that looks okay. So we're not going to go there. And probably if there's a total breakdown, stall somewhere in the 15, 20, 30 area. I wouldn't want to be sitting in front of it, though. I'm not predicting it. I'm just saying. So let me get rid of this because it's kind of distracting the proportions of what else is around it. Okay. No sound? Does anybody else hear me? Other people seem to be hearing me. Let me try something real quick. Okay. All right. So other people hear me. All good. All right. Okay. So that's that. I mean, I wish I could put lipstick on a pig, but I can't. But just on the optimistic side, if when we can get back over 6690, 6700, 6705, a little bit of a volatility reset, something. Then we have a path of these market makers shorts, small but there, up toward 6740, stalled before that. We have this fly looking thing over here at 6740, near 50, near the round number. But that doesn't look super likely. But you never know. This XBI minus, that's because I sold a call against shares. If they want to take it, they can take it. That's what this loss is. A lot of these are covered calls. Futures, do I have any futures? No. Okay, I'm going to get ready to close this. Yeah, probably get ready to close that. Okay, so let's take a look over here. Grain of salt, expected move 40. I don't know how much I trust their expected move, but let's just kind of say it's okay-ish. And it was like 30 or something when I wrote it in the morning, or 35. So the straddle price increase. And we're at 87. So 87, let's say 40 puts us down near the 50. And I don't know why the 50 isn't marked on my chart. It should be. Let's just draw a line manually. We can draw lines. There we go. Beautiful. That kind of takes us down to that area more or less. And 40 to the top, volatility can swing both ways. 40 to the top puts us around, well, we'll call it 90, and 40 is 30. Puts us right around here somewhere, which kind of makes sense based on this setup. Makes sense based on this setup that should we be able to get above this and hold, and VIX not throw us for a loop, then should be able to get into here somewhere. Let's take a look at the gamma heat map, and again, nothing pretty here. Okay, so we have lots of sold calls up here. We ain't going there. Here's the corresponding sold puts from the same people. And we ain't going there. So where are we going? Let's just kind of bring it in a little bit. Path of least resistance, should we just kind of stay weak, takes us down to 75, 70 in here. That trend gets stronger as the day progresses. Now that's assuming that new positions aren't open, et cetera, and we know they will be. So this will change. What's been happening, and I've been mentioning this, is that intraday, pretty much at the beginning of the day, by quarter after nine, 10 o'clock-ish, you see these relatively large, this is sold. Green means customer sold, market maker long. I'm always looking at the market maker side of things. Always look at the market maker side of things. Here's the 11,000 that corresponds to the other side of it. These guys come in, but more importantly, from our point of view, how can we look back? We can't look back. Okay, never mind. Well, we can, but I don't know how to do it, so I'm not gonna mess with it. What we see happening is funds come in and sell 5 and 10 wide iron condors typically, and that sets the edges. Now, yesterday they sold the 66.75. We broke below it when vol increased and came back above it. And I've seen that before. We see that. When vol increases and we get this crazy undershoot, undercut, or overshoot, we somehow manage to mean revert back through it. We just do. Just let's take it experientially. Additionally, we have JP Morgan's collar over here, the 650 sold calls. That kind of acts like a buffer here. It's only a week out. Now, yeah, of course, closer in has more gamma, more support. But let's play another game. Let's go range from today to, let's just go November 1st. So we get the JP Morgan collar in. And now let's turn that to gamma. Oh, it's on gamma. So even though it's wherever it is, pretty far out in time, the support of gamma from the 50 is bigger than any individual bar here, not this, not the 66.95. So here's your broad landscape. If market makers have to hedge everything, we just look at the 0 DTE because that has the most impact. So that's why I'm willing to say that this is going to hold. If we just looked at the 0 DTE, we'd say, it doesn't look great. Now we change it to position number. Bigger positions, as you get closer to those levels, they become stronger, either pushing down or pulling up. Okay. Getting back to the 0 DTE. And here's where we are. I see we're kind of bouncing a little bit now. we're getting above that pivot inflection thing. We really need to get and stay above this 95 number, call it 6,700. It's easy to remember. We need to stay above this 90, 95, 05. We can just kind of chop in here, maybe undercut a second and come back, maybe overshoot and come back. If the battle for 6,700 is won, or at least not totally lost, if we end up at 66, 98, whatever, we can hang out in that area long enough, that favors the bulls. Why? Because charm kicks in and there's decays. So market makers are short, whatever they're short, to hedge this, whatever they have to be short to hedge this. And over time, as this decays, that causes a reflexive buyback as the 66.75s, which are now a 35 delta, yikes, as time ticks off the clock and they become a 20 delta, that's buyback. Volatility decreases a little bit, that's more buyback. So if this is there and we're over 6,700 or even near it later in the day, we could start getting a push up. Of course, if we're below it, we can kind of get trapped, but don't discount the move like we had yesterday at the end of the day. It's a tricky day to trade iron condors. It's a much better day, I think, to trade scalps, because we're going to have these kind of swings. We're going to have these swings. That's kind of a long and short of it. Now where are we? Now suddenly we're back above 90 and the skies are looking bright again. So I have this crap I sold yesterday. This one, I saw the 75 go in, and on the pullback, I joined him. What did I get? I got about 70 cents for it, 65 cents for it. I had trouble getting fills when that FINRA stuff went down. And I'll buy it back. Should I be a piggy and try and squeeze an extra few pennies out of it? I always buy back. That's, and here, this I got, and again, it showed like $2.50, $3, and I couldn't get a fill. It filled at like $1.20 or something. But it's a little green. I could take the money and run. But we see, just the way I evaluate it, is that the puts that were sold are very green. The problem is the ones that were bought also are very red. And when you're doing spreads like this on the put side, skew is going against you. You're paying up more for the out of the money stuff, and that's going to decay a lot. So what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to leave these alone for now. This whole mess is at 50% profit, which isn't terrible. I like to get 65%, but 60%, I'm not an idealist. If I could squeeze $1,000 out of this at the open in the first 10 minutes and maybe not even bother with iron condors the rest of the day, that's not bad either. So, I have to decide. Oh, Dow is up. Good. I own this piece of dreck. I own this. I own 300 shares of it. I accepted assignment. I got put. I accepted assignment. I don't really care. It's not going to hurt me. It's going to give me a dividend. That's not a very large position, and I can always play with it. And so that's it. That's it. Now we're getting some upward movement. And so suddenly, if we can get over here, we have that path up. We talked about the two paths you can go by. Me and Robert Plant talked about it. That's where the lyric came from in Stairway to Heaven. The two paths you could go by was how he wrote up his trading plan. That's a joke. Cue up the laugh track, Professor. And so it's conditional, path dependent, however you math guys like to think of it. Wall Street said below, Tesla, IBM results underwhelm. Okay, yeah, right. We got Tesla. Your buddy Tesla. Not horrible. I mean, not great, but not horrible. I think it didn't exceed its expected move. Texas Instruments got murdered yesterday. Let's see if it's where is it? I have it here somewhere. TXN got murdered yesterday, and it doesn't look like it's out of the woods yet. It does not look like it's out of the woods yet. Lam Research popped on earnings, and of course, it just got sold off, baby, with the bath water. Oh, the other stuff that's interesting to me while we're talking is VRT. I kind of like this name. This is one of those power data center names. Yes, I missed the bottom yesterday. But I already have an order in to sell puts on this. I own shares from from high 80s or something, 90, but small amount because I have paper hands. And as soon as I had a nice profit, I took it. So I'd like to get back in and not have paper hands. That's it. What else reported? Tractor Supply reported, I think. Now that I have goats, I'm a Tractor Supply fan. Okay, not bad. Not bad. We'll take it. Who else reported? Anybody remember? We can just take a look over here. Dow. American Tractor Supply down 5%. What else we got here? Oh, yeah, this one, yeah. Mobileye. That's good. Semi. If you remember Mobileye, I forgot who was initially going to take them over. And then they decided they backed out of the deal and they went public. Not where they came from. And they had their IPO and they were a high flyer for a while. Then they started to suck. I think Intel, of course, bought them when they were a high flyer. And then to delever their balance sheet, I think they sold it at $5 billion and they paid $30 billion for it. And they kind of came out again. They're mobile semiconductors. At least that's what they were, semiconductors for cars. I'm not sure if they're trying to do something else. So anyway, they beat, which is better than nothing. Mobileye. Not a great big move, though. Moderna, of course, getting killed. Tesla, IBM, Oscar, the health insurance one. Oh yeah, the health insurance. Centene got beat up. Canadian Pacific Railway, even though I looked at the results, they look good, but okay, Honeywell, good. I have a decent sized position in that one. Not that anyone cares. The rare earth metal trade is back again, and the coal trade, and METC is coal. Gold is bouncing back. And that's it. Okay, I'm going to sign off in a timely manner today. Oh, let's look at TLT. Vol is cheap in TLT. So if you want to buy something, either direction or do a broker wing fly or a diagonal or something, Vol is cheap in TLT. And in GLD in gold. Remember we looked at it yesterday? It may already be heating up though. What was the gold vol? Anybody remember? I think it was GVX. GVX. No. G. Anybody remember what gold vol is? Should have put it on my chart. Well, GVX, but it's not. I forgot. Anybody remember what gold vol is? Next time I find it, I'm going to put it on my chart. GVX, G something. You would think it would be VX, but it's not. Anyway, okay, I'm done. Take care, everybody. Any questions or comments? Wait for something. Maybe you could do some education on broker wing flies. I don't think many of us understand their use. Okay. I'll do the broker wing fly talk about that on the Discord. We have time. Oh, GVZ, thank you. Wait, late breaking news. GVZ, volatility Z. Okay, makes sense. Not. Okay, so gold vol is coming down. I mean, it's still elevated. And so it's not a bad, I was thinking of buying some GLD yesterday. You know me, I'm going to buy some kind of multi-leg option thing. And I still might look to do something. I'm not sure what. And that's it. Thank you for that symbol. Okay. GVZ. I got help. Get by with help from my friends. Okay. Thank you, everybody, and trade safe.